Hello, so I thought it would be a good time to start one final series on this channel for Football Manager 24. The new game, Football Manager 26, has been announced, so hopefully it won't be too long before it comes out. But what I've done is downloaded the latest squads as of the end of August, as you'll see in a second, so that we can start another Bristol Rovers adventure with a slight twist this time. So here it is. So this is the updated team. So we've got Southern Hall, McEachran and Sparks in there. Patters on the bench. Jed Ward's gone out on loan. We've got Southwood in. Mola and Moore the wrong side. But other than that, that's pretty close to how it's been looking in real life. So we'll click through and accept to get this started. Schedule a press conference. No, we'll do the friendly. And we'll have a meeting every fortnight. So what I'm going to do is save our save, but with this slight twist is that this is going to be a locals only save. So my aim is going to be to develop Rovers the best I can. For those of you that saw the first video on the channel where we took Rovers over the course of I think it was over 20 years to treble winners, including the Champions League. And we had a lot of foreign players in that save. We signed a lot of players for a lot of money. This save is going to be all about signing local players and bringing through our own talent. So we will obviously start the saves in the normal ways that you usually do, but we are slowly going to try and shift away from the kind of diverse squad that we have, and we will only be allowed to sign players that are from the local area. So given that we are Bristol Rovers, what I'm going to do is show you some of the places that we are going to scout from. So the first thing that I've done is pulled up a list of the current squad with where they were born. A lot of these players will eventually go. A few interesting ones though. Ellis Harrison being from Newport. I haven't included it, but I don't think I'll rush to move him on. The same, I guess, with this Jack Sparks. Exmouth is definitely more Exeter territory, but again, I think you could argue the same thing. Cinderford and Luke Thomas, I'm definitely going to keep him around because Cinderford isn't far from Bristol at all. He came through Cheltenham's academy originally, so definitely not far. We've obviously got the two definitely the two players we're definitely going to keep in Jed Ward and Alfie Kilgore. When it comes to the development squad, we just don't have that information for basically any of these players. So what we're going to do is assume that they are all local, unless obviously someone in the comments lets me know otherwise, apart from Meek Anthony, because although he doesn't have a birthplace, here it says unknown, he came through QPR's academy, so we're not going to include him. There's only one player in the under-18s, and then also the staff. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to gradually move on players that are staff that aren't local. So what I want to show you now is actually the list of locations that we're going to try and look for players in. So I've got 12. We've got Bristol, Yate, Bath, Chippenham, Frome, Warminster, Weston, Bridgewater, Trowbridge, Wells, Clevedon, and we added Cinderford as well. Again, if there's any locations you think that I'm missing from that list that could be considered local to Bristol Rovers, then let me know. But that brings up quite a few players, some kind of Premier League level like Mings, Butland, Bobby De Cordova-Reid, Lloyd Kelly, some ex-Rovers players like Tom Lockyer, Matt Macy, Scott Sinclair, a few ex-City like Joe Bryan. Joe Bell was interesting. I can't have any connection to the local area for him, but the information does say he was born in Bristol in England. So we'll have a look through these, we'll get them scouted. Kyle Scott is another interesting one. Place of birth, Bath, came through Chelsea's academy. So it's not just English players. Nick Sorula as well. Information says that he was born in Bristol, but it looks like he's got some Greek heritage as well. So we'll start to work on these guys. There's some players that Rose have let go because they weren't good enough, like Harvey Greenslade. Charles is an interesting name for a regen without a club at the moment. So plenty of regens here as well, and we'll do some scouting to see if any of these guys are going to be good enough. I have also set up some scout filters as well. So I haven't got Cinderford on this list at the moment, but I do have the other 11. And again, we'll look to develop staff that are locals as well as the save goes on. So that's the plan for now. From the current team, again, there will be some players that will move on, but I'm not going to do that immediately. because I don't want to completely kind of unbalance the team. But what I think I'll do is move things forward to the end of the first transfer window. I need to get Jed Ward back in goal as well, and then I will update you again then. So we've reached the end of the first transfer window. The outgoings that you can see were already pre-agreed things, so these are all the real life transfers that I had no say over. As for the income, we've got the 3, 4, 5 here that are predetermined, so I had no say in any of those. Southwood's on a lot of money, so he's going to be one that we're going to have to try and move on reasonably soon. Again, from Oxford, so not too far away, but not local enough for us. 3 incoming transfers that we did have a say over, however. We'll start with the obvious one to start with. Free agent. Obviously, we released him in real life, but he's a local lad. Didn't want much money to come back and sit in the reserve, so I thought we would do it. Aston Sherratt is a new gen. Not great, not on much money, not got much value. Realistically, isn't going to become a hugely significant player, but again, a Bristol lad that we could bring in for numbers. He's actually gone into the under-21s for now. And then James Morton, we paid 30k for. Again, there's not really a huge amount of talent available. We brought him in from Southend in the National League. You'll see he came through City, spent some time at Bath on loan as well. Again, not going to make the starting 11 realistically, but we're short of a holding midfielder, to be honest, so he can come in and sit on the bench for now as well. That's it for now. Not much money available to spend, so not really had many options for players that we could bring in. If we go back to that players in range tab again, I've sorted it by ability and people who are interested. Turnbull, Tilson, Maddox are all realistic candidates. Lattori has just appeared. Hadn't seen him before starting to record this section. Not played for a club previously, from Bath. So I think we might go for him. Again, it's just someone useful to have. If we can get him fairly cheap, which we can in the academy. And we've also had Nigel Fisher appear, who is Jamaican, place of birth Bristol. So again, I think we might also go for him as another Bristolian to pop, if we can afford him, into the academy. We'll try once more. No, so we'll keep an eye on him. I'll do some more scouting. If it turns out he's any good, then we'll bring him in and pop him in the academy. But if not, we'll carry on. So I'll show you the squad as it is for now. Young is injured, but it's pretty much the same team that we would expect us to start with. Hutchinson has dropped to the bench, and I brought in Shaq just because he's got a bit of potential. I'm hopefully going to get a loan for Dewsbury. Again, a lot of potential, but we've got better strikers around at the moment. Charles we brought in as well. It's not confirmed yet, but he's in on trial. He was a free agent that I pointed out at the start of the video. Again, just a potential option that can fill some gaps in the squad. So that's all for now. I'll be back at the end of the next transfer window. We've reached the 1st of February, so January window under our belt now. A bit of a frustrating one really, because I tried so hard to generate interest for some of our players, some of the non-Bristolian lads, to try and move them on, and just nobody was interested. So the 3 outgoings, Promise went to, this was a Nigerian team, yeah it is, 325k, rising to 350, very similar fee for Taylor Moore, who went back to France, to Lavaloy, and then Belongo to Lincoln for 43k. So raised a bit of money there, which I was hoping to use to try and bring in a few players, but just very little interest in anyone coming to the club as well. So the one signing is Sean Wade, a winger. We paid 190k for him. A winger from Chelsea. Information is that he was born in Bristol, so he meets our criteria, and he goes onto the bench. So if I show you the squad as it looks now, there are lots of players available now. In fact, if I show you the players that I was trying to bring in, you'll see how many deals fell through. Some young goalkeeper Ollie Wright at Southampton and Joe Wallacott at Crawley both fell through. The youngster Caden Wilson at Chelsea didn't go through. Joe Edwards was going to be a fullback. In fact, he can play anywhere across the back line. That didn't go through. Charles has come in. Although bizarrely he's coming on a very, very long trial, and he isn't actually going to sign officially until the 8th of September 2020. It does look like he could offer us something. In terms of star ratings, could potentially be a decent player at this level, and his name is Charles, so we had to sign him really. Beneraus and Young also fell through. Not a huge amount of incomings and outgoings. If we look at the team as it is now, so the plan was to move Southwood and Young on, bring in those two goalkeepers I showed you, but couldn't find a good deal. You'll notice that there's a lot of unhappiness, a lot of listed players as I was trying to drum up some interest. So eventually Senior, Mola, Sparks, pretty much all of this team are going to move on. Alfie is the only one of the starting 11 that will stay long term. You'll notice the bench is now as it should be. So Will Larvin from the academy, as is Ellison Blanchard, Edward Strajewski, Sean Wade, the new signing, and Dante McEwen, all academy lads that have come up. Scott Sinclair is just here as a squad player. Morton we brought in the first transfer window as a squad player as well. Ashton Sherritt has just come up from the academy as well, who can play on the left. So we're getting to the point now where in a lot of games the players that are coming onto the pitch are going to be our long-term options. There's some decent potential on some of these guys, but a lot of that is because of how many players have moved out with the squad. Which brings me to how the season has gone so far, which isn't too bad. 31 games played, we're third, and we've opened up a bit of a gap from everyone else. I can show you the form as well, which has been a little bit up and down over the last few weeks. As you saw from the table, MK Dons are running away with things. The start of September, we were playing really well. Got hammered by MK Dons at home, which isn't a surprise given they're running away with the league. Another really good winning run. A few defeats. So again, MK Dons have just been far too good for this division. We had a really tough Football League trophy group with MK Dons, Colchester in it, and Colchester scored a last-minute penalty to knock us out of that. FA Cup run, we got to the third round, where again we lost to Colchester. So MK Dons and Colchester have had our number so far this season, and a defeat to Barnet in the last game as well. But again, promotion is possible. Whether that will be a good thing, because we still have got a lot of starters to shift out and a lot of young players to bring in, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. In terms of the squad, Dewsbury's out on loan. Again, he is going to come in and be the starting striker next year. Jed Ward will come back in and be the starting goalkeeper next year. So a lot of it really is just planning for next season. Promotion might not be a great thing. We'll see how we finish at the end of the season, and I'll update you again then. So the other quick update for you is the youth intake has arrived. This guy, Mukahit Gedikali, looks competent from Bristol, so that's another one to go into the squad. A lot of them I've noticed though aren't from Bristol, so Torquay, none of these other guys are Bristolian. I haven't yet checked Joseph Kuanqua Salisbury, so no. Stanley Robinson is from Great Torrington, so no. Interesting that it was the Turkish guy that was from Bristol, so no. Ali Jevon is from Bournemouth, so it looks like it might be Nigerian. It looks like it might just be the star here, the Turkish guy that is actually Bristol born. I've signed them all up, so we'll see what comes of them, and we'll hopefully try and make some money of them, and they won't feature. But one really good player to add to the rotation there. Okay, so it's time for the final part of this video. We have reached the 18th of May, and we've got one game left. But if you look at the table, you'll notice that game is the playoff final. So as I thought it might do, things collapsed quite considerably once we started to try and use some of the younger lads as much as possible. If I show you the squad, so you'll see that we have started to really give as many opportunities as we can to some of the younger lads. So if I come down here, other than the players that we were using a lot at the start of the season, Will Larvin has started 5 games and made 28 appearances altogether. We've got most of them kind of starting 2, 3, 4 games. some substitute appearances. Charlie White came in at the end of the season and made 5 appearances in total. McEwen, 2 starts, 1 goal, 2 assists, 23 substitute appearances. So a lot of these lads are slowly developing, which is what we're going to need to do in order to have a big enough squad to compete once we shift out the non-Bristolian players. Playoff final time though, so we'll move forward to that, and I thought I would bring you this one as a live game to finish the episode. We've got a few transfers arranged that I will show you at the start of the next episode in this series. But this is what the team is. It's been to start most of the games. Southern Hills is fit again, so we will go with him at right back, Senior at left back, and then the bench has pretty much the entire second half of the season been this. So still got Young there who will be moving out, but then Larvin, Ellison, Pritchard, who's the guy that, I think Pritchard was another one of the academy lads, yeah. And then down here we also, Charlie White has come in and played a few games. We'll have Charles next season. Dewsbury and Ward will be back next season and go into the main team. But this is pretty much how it has been. So let's get this promotion decider started. To be honest, it's not a huge deal for me whether we go up or not. I think it will be quite difficult to have success in League One with a lot of these players moved on, a lot of the academy lads in. So if we end up in League 2 next season, again, that's not going to be a huge issue. So let's see how we go. We really did collapse, to be honest, at the end of the season. We lost. It was a couple of games at the end of the season that meant our automatic promotion charge fell away. Shrewsbury we lost to on the final day, which made sure that we definitely couldn't get automatically promoted. Then we lost them again in the first leg of the playoffs away, but then beat them 2-0 at home to get through to the playoff final. We've been better than Barnet when we've played them this season, so this is a game that we've certainly got a good chance of winning. It looks like we're having more of the ball, which is good. Again, promotion would just allow us to recruit that slightly higher calibre of player being in League One next season, and given the minutes that we've given to some of the academy lads, hopefully they'll be slightly more prepared to play regular football next season. I think they'd be ready for League 2 level, but whether they'd be ready for League 1 level is another question. First real chance there for Thomas. Hutchinson has scored quite a few free kicks for us this year, some real stunners as well. So, not sure where the goalkeeper was going, but we're definitely the team on top here. 0.52 XG. Barnet have hardly had any. Just need to keep it going. If we can get that breakthrough, again, we've not got a huge amount of experience. I've just noticed that's Tyreek George that's in the Barnet team. There's not a huge number of other players that I recognise. Hopefully we can win this ball back though, and we aren't going to... We'll turn it back over to Barnet. We have, in a lot of games this season, been ahead and then conceded late goals or second half goals to have games turned around. I shouldn't have looked at Tyreek George, should I? 1-0 down. Hopefully we can turn this around in the second half, because look at the match momentum. Okay, so I need to get this back in our favour. Hopefully find a bit of momentum in our direction. Southern Hills to deliver it into the box. Oh, that was a chance from Cavan. He's scored quite a few poachers goals this season. Again, he is someone that we will try and move on, but there was just absolutely no interest in him at all during the any point really this season. I think part of the reason we fell off in terms of our performances in games was because I was trying to offer players out and move them on, and obviously that had quite a large impact on the morale of the squad. Thomas giving the ball away there. Looks like we've recovered reasonably well. Again, it's still us that have had the majority of the chances. And it looks like this one might not be our day. Okay, so 20 minutes left. Made 5 changes. Brought on all of the academy lads. Ellison has definitely been the standout of the players that have come up. McEwen's done reasonably well. Has grown reasonably well. Um, Pritchard. Oh yes, again, just as I was praising him. 2-1. Not long left now. Um, yeah, nice. Southern Hills did well to get it down the right to Wade. And again, it was all the young lads working together there to get us back into this game. So 2-1, 20 minutes left. It's always the way, isn't it? Start with the strongest team, bring on the academy lads, and it's them that have made the difference. But 10 minutes left now means we're slowly running out of time to change this. Again, there's a few things I can do. If we move senior forward, we can move Southern Hills forward, move the midfield forward a little bit as well. I'm just trying to throw a few more players forward for this last, minute and a half plus added time. I probably should have made these changes a little bit earlier, but I guess if we also bring Wade over to the left, we can push Southern Hills as a winger on the right as well. We can get McEwen a little bit more attacking in that central midfield role as well, and just have one last roll of the dice. If we get the centre halves as ball playing defenders as well, then maybe they can help us build up, even though there isn't a huge amount back there. And hopefully McEwen as a target forward, then we can just throw things into the box and hope for the best. The other option I've got, I guess, is to throw Kilgore up there as a target forward that will, again, we'll see how this attack goes, and if it's goes in our favour, or if we don't concede, then we'll try that final roll of the dice. But it's not looking great to save Southwood. A little bit frustrating that we've been the better team here, which has been the way it has been in most of our games against Barnet this season. But yeah, last thing I guess we can do, let's get Kilgore as a target forward, McEwen as a pressing forward, and we'll just see if we can create anything. It feels to me like just one more chance. If we can just find one chance, then who knows. But again, having said that, to be in League 2 again next season with a more locally based squad, it's been difficult to shift the players out. But one last highlight. Let's see, can we win this ball back? No, done Southwood. Can McEwen nick it? He has nicked it. Come on. Oh no. And I think that is probably going to be that. Yes, it is. So that's going to be the end of today's episode.